is scheduled for one fall. First coming down the aisle from the visiting dugout, I give you our dub.
Welcome to this week's edition of the Nosebleed Seats. Once again, thanks to my butter. This weekend is Pinfall Wrestling Association at the Springfield JC's Activity Center for Brawloween. And Bryan Ealey has the microphone. And the music is not shutting off.
AKA Ray.
How long he can hold the
and
syllable.
He has a special guest manager for one day only. The manager is
Speedy!
Speedy the Turtle. Sorry, Speedy. I give you from Springfield, Illinois, Bryan Ealey.
Speedy is kind of an odd nickname for a turtle because turtles are not very fast. At least on foot. Now they can swim pretty quick. But walking, not so much. As I was stating, Brawloween this weekend, October the 19th at the JC's Activity Center. South 12th Street, headlined by Battle Royal 20 men. Also headlined by a triple threat for the PWA heavyweight title. Guy Smith taking on Tom Arson and Jonathan Magnus. And certain people are taking their own sweet time getting this match started. Tell you what, we're going to go to a quick break and take a look at this weekend's wrestling events throughout Central Illinois. Alright, here we go. Also note, Pro Wrestling Epic back in Lincoln, Illinois on the 18th. As Speedy is in the corner of one Bryan Ealey, and I have to assume that Speedy has to be pretty hot in that costume. And Randy Ray showing off a bit. Randy Ray has been forced to enter the Battle Royal at number 1 at PWA's Brawloween. And here we go with the initial lockup and into the corner. I should note Bryan Ealey is now one half of the Pro Wrestling Glory Tag Team Champions. They pulled off an upset in a triple threat tag title defense. Madman and Casey were not pinned to lose the titles. The other team in that triple was basically a one-time re-team of Fabulous Jason V and Cecil Cerveza, who are not on friendly terms. Cecil Cerveza just double-crossed as expected. Fabulous Jason V, as Cecil wanted to cheat, and Vendetta would have none of it. Madman hit his fifth floor finisher on Jason V. Bryan Ealey jumped back in the ring and covered Vendetta to get the 1, 2, 3 and the tag team titles. As Bryan Ealey with a slap on Randy Ray, swing and a miss. Hard chop from Bryan Ealey. Irish whip to the corner. And a hip toss out of the corner. And an arm drag. And a body slam. And Bryan Ealey gonna go up kind of early in this matchup. And Randy Ray gonna get out of dodge. This is the conclusion to Take Me Out to the Brawl game that was held at the Springfield Sliders back in July. We showed part 1 a few weeks ago, but broke away from it as Randy Ray next snaps Bryan Ealey on the top rope. He broke away from it to air some timely interviews with wrestlers we had met up with over the past few weeks. And it sure took a lot of time to edit those interviews, but I'm glad to have got them out there on a timely fashion. Concerning the weekend schedule of events, always check the St. Louis Wrestling Community, stlwrestling.livejournal.com. 2 shows ended up being canceled last week. 01 in Bloomington and IWA Unlimited in Mount Vernon got called off. Randy Ray staying on Bryan Ealey and pushes him into the corner. After this match, we're going to look at the new MBS 25 and the Tag 5 ×2. We're going to have a new number 1 for the MBS 25, so you don't want to miss that. Backbreaker only gets a 2 count for Randy Ray. Randy Ray, a crafty individual with very high goals. And Randy Ray snatches a water bottle. It is hot out. There's no question about that. It is hot out. It's not like last summer, but it was still pretty toasty out here nonetheless here on the Ball Diamond at Robin Roberts Field. And Randy Ray takes a seat on Bryan Ealey and does the Ravishing Rick Rude swivel. Also want to note the following weekend. As I said, 01 ended up canceling in Bloomington, but they will be appearing in Champaign, Illinois on the 26th. Those in the western part of the state of Illinois, you're going to have an extremely rare wrestling show, this time in Pittsfield, Illinois. Now, there's Proving Ground has been running in Jacksonville, but this is way further west than that. Dynamo Pro Wrestling will be coming to Pittsfield. Jake Durden is bringing Dynamo Pro Wrestling to his hometown, so there'll be a wrestling show at the high school in Pittsfield. So you don't want to miss that. No, you got some choices. I mean, there's multiple choices on what wrestling shows to go to in the next few weeks. Another cover. A bit of a slow count. Also note, Southern Illinois Championship Wrestling in East Carindale, Illinois at the Community Center on the 19th. Carbondale, Illinois on the 20th. That's a Sunday at the SIU Arena. WWE coming to town in Carbondale. It's been a few years since WWE has been to Carbondale. They've done some refurbishing of the building. Randy Ray with that rare headlock. That might be a choke. The ref is just checking the arm, but he's got that arm around the neck. That's a chokehold. And Bryan Ealey gonna hang in there. Bryan Ealey trying to get back on his feet. Randy Ray tries in vain to hold that headlock. Ealey is broken out of it, and there's a clothesline from Bryan Ealey. Inverted atomic drop. Elbow to the chin of Randy Ray. Ealey gonna send Randy Ray for the ride and a spine buster. And Ealey gonna go for the top rope elbow. Bryan Ealey going to the top rope, one half of the PWG Tag Team Champions. Hits its target. Well, he doesn't go for a cover. I thought he would go for a pinfall, and what in the world? The referee just helped the mascot get into the ring. What is this referee thinking? Now Speedy is wanting to fight Randy Ray as Randy Ray's kind of begging off. Oh, Speedy hit him! And Randy Ray retaliates. Meanwhile, Bryan Ealey is tuning up the band. Super kick! That should have been a disqualification, but this referee counts the fall anyway. Kind of a bizarre way to end this matchup. It should have been disqualification, as the mascot is not supposed to get in the ring during the match. But Bryan Ealey is going to win this in 8 minutes and 30 seconds. And Bryan Ealey will be challenging Blake Steele for the PWA Regional title this weekend, assuming that he does not lose it to his opponent in the match we are going to show next, but we will be right back. And there he is, the #1 wrestler in Central Illinois, Blake Steele. And this is for the PWA Regional title. And here we go, one-on-one. Blake Steele will be defending against Benz, the former New Midwest Heavyweight Champion. Blake Steele still has 3 titles. Of course, the PWA Regional, the Proving Ground Pro Cutting Edge title. There's no shows scheduled in the future for that. Well, at least until November. I'm not sure the date that Proving Ground Pro will be running next, but we'll find out in the next few weeks. And of course, Blake Steele has the Pro Wrestling Glory Heavyweight, well, the Glory title. And for a few hours, Blake Steele was also holding the PWE Heavyweight title. Won it and lost it back to Brandon Espinoza in one day. And because of that, because Blake Steele has been racking up singles titles, he is the #1 wrestler in Central Illinois. He has passed Christian Rose, who just recently won the Dreamwave title. And of course, leapfrogs over his rival, Brandon Espinoza. Brandon Espinoza still has 2 singles titles and 2 tag team titles. And Benz trying to power out. Takes Blake Steele into the corner. There's Nelson 6 at ringside. That is the other half of the Pro Wrestling Glory tag team title holders. Nelson 6 holds the tag titles with one Bryan Ealey.
Tag Speedy!
Barely got in. We extended the tag team 5 list. We doubled it for the month of October only as a bit of an experiment. Nation #1, Ealey and 6 got in at number 10. So we will see if Nation #1 can get into the top 5 by the time the January vote comes around. Although Nation #1 is pretty much an exclusive team to Glory. They have not taken their tag team outside of that promotion, as far as I know. Speaking of Nation #1, Tom Larson's out of a job at Proving Ground Pro. He is out of there. He was fired as he refused to obey match stipulations. No interference in his title shot against Blake Steele, so he was given his walking papers. Pro Wrestling Glory coming November the 16th back in Moroa. Some other shows happening in the during the month of November. Dreamwave will be holding its next event on November the 2nd in LaSalle. Sky Pro Wrestling's pretty much taking the rest of the year off. Dead Wrestling Coalition will have one more event, and then they will take the rest of the year off. And Benz slams Blake Steele right in the center of the ring. Wish we had time, but Steele and Benz traded words before this event got underway during the middle of the baseball game. Springfield Sliders just did not do very well this year. number of wins very low. Only got about 10 wins the entire season. And a side slam from Benz and a cover. Because of that bad season the Sliders had, kind of played into the low attendance of the games, and this doubleheader, for instance, you know, wrestling's being held here. Kind of would have been better if the wrestling event was kind of held during the twilight hours. Oh, Blake Steele gonna pick him up and side suplex. And Blake Steele pull him over. There's a cross arm breaker. There is a cross arm breaker. Referee checking. Tim Givens is your referee. Timothy Givens, the new official. Oh, there's a 2 count. Blake Steele's got to be careful not to pin himself with this move. Of course, Benz, if he can push forward, can push Blake Steele's shoulders to the mat. Now this is turning into a triangle choke, but Benz picks him up and slams him to break the hold. Good, gone for a cover just to force him to break it. And nobody home. Blake Steele rolls out of the way, uses the ropes. Ben's kicked out of that, thankfully. The referee, I don't think, would have saw it. And Blake Steele, well, goes back to cross arm breaker, but Benz has got a foot on the rope and he has to let go. Well, yes, you got a 5 count. Blake Steele being the #1 wrestler on the NDS 25, he may be the front runner for wrestler of the year. We don't know. Christian Rose and Bryan Espinoza are going to be in the picture again. And then the remaining 2 spots on the list is pretty much wide open to anybody. Somebody could make some waves in the last couple of months of the year. And the early part of 2014, as the awards are given out in March and April. As fast as we can give them out to places we go to give the awards. And Benz trying to fight his way back to his feet and get Blake Steele wobbly. Well, there's a spine buster. Didn't have a lot behind it. And Steele gets out pretty easily. And if Blake Steele wins this match, he's supposed to defend the title against Bryan Ealey at a Brawloween. Irish whip. Back body drop from Benz. And Nelson Six pushes the belt into the ring. Only a 2 count. And Blake Steele backs into the corner where the belt is. Nelson Six purposely put that belt there. Well, Blake Steele got a boot up. Well, the belt, all it got was footprints. I don't know why Nelson Six put it in the corner, because I thought Blake Steele was going to use it. But Blake Steele took way too much time on the top rope, and Ben slams him off, and now that belt's got put in the corner again. Oh, block He's going for the rock bomb, and Nelson 6 on the apron and clocks him with the belt. And that belt's right in the center of the ring. Ah, no, 2 count. Ben's got shoulder up.
2 count.
This match continues. Benz is not going to go away. Blake Steele trying to take a shortcut to end it. And here's rock bottom. Benz with a cover. And Nelson 6 puts the foot on the rope. And the crowd here at Robin Roberts Stadium is chewing out Nelson 6. Oh, there's a roll-up. Schoolboy.
2.
Ben's kicked out of that one. He's trying to grip the pants. Well, there's a kick to the head. And Blake Steele. Oh, looky here. Dragon Sleeper. Dragon Sleeper. He's got that cinched in tight. And Benz is tapping out. He has no choice but to tap out. It's over.
The winner of the match by a submission is still a PWA Regional Champion, Blake Steele.
10 minutes and 40 seconds. Blake Steele will be going to Brawloween to defend the regional title against Bryan Ealey. Guy Smith will be defending in a triple threat against Tom Arson and John Magnus. Blake Steele will also be facing Brandon Espinosa for the PWA heavyweight title once again. Pro Wrestling Epic Friday the 18th. So Blake Steele could go back up to 4 belts this weekend, but it looks like, what is Blake Steele doing? He's locking in that sleeper again. And here comes Eric Logan. Eric Logan. Benz and Logan have formed a tag team pretty recently at PWA. Eric Logan comes to the aid of Benz. And Eric Logan gonna kick the dirt on top of Blake Steele and throw him out. So that'll do it for this edition of the Nosebleed Seats. And take me out to the Brawlgame Pinfall Wrestling Association, held this past July. Next week, we're going to Verdun, Illinois. We're gonna take a look at more from Unfair Game. We're going to show the Unfair Game tournament. That will take a number of weeks. So be sure to tune in next week for the start of that tournament. I'm the Mad Conservative Crime Butter. We'll see you next time.